make some epic music.
Are you making your own theme song?
No.
Dun, 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 dun. Wiiviewer, littlest Wiiviewer reviews in color. This is the Wiiviewer.
The littlest Wiiviewer.
And we're going to review
The Wii Party U.
for the Wii U. So this is the second attempt by Nintendo to make a party game in their own way. But I guess you could say Mario Party series is the same way, wouldn't you?
I don't know. Mario Party is a board game. This is more of just a party game in general.
There are board games in this title, but the board games don't work as well as like the Mario Party series, but no one expected them to. They do try to be clever, yet it is a little bit generic at times. What did you think of the original Wii Party?
It was pretty fun.
There are 3 modes you can play. Well, 4 if you count the minigame collections that you can play. But let's focus on the 3 main parts of the game. The TV party, the house party, and the GamePad party. The whole idea behind the Wii Party series, these are games that you want to get together and have everybody play. So let's talk about the TV party category first. And that was the board games part. Well, it's not all board games. And those were fun for a couple times. And the board games themselves were weird. I mean, there was this one where you're crossing a bridge. It is like the worst bridge ever imagined. It's just something you expect the government to build. I mean, I would have loved to see that council meeting. It's like, I'd like to build a bridge that goes to jaggy ways so we can just make it as hard as possible for people to get off it. That's safe, right?
It's not a bridge. It's like a raceway for people instead of cars.
If I ever had to walk that thing, I'd be like, my God, this is taking forever.
That's till it's harder for the runners.
The money they must have sunk into this project would have been ridiculous. What I really liked about those board games was they had different ways of throwing dice. And that's something that I thought was very, very clever. I mean, there was like 6 or 7 ways to roll dice. From like shooting arrows at it, to blow darts, to dropping an anvil on numbers. What'd you think of that?
That was pretty cool. How it's just a bunch of different ways to roll a die. It's not just generic roll.
That was what made that game the most fun. There's also a game where you have to drop balls into like a pit, like you see it like a Chuck E. Cheese with coins. But let's talk about the other sections too. The house party. What would you call this whole section? Not as longer games, but for parties. This is where I think people would go to play in parties.
It's something that doesn't really involve minigames, but more so involves going around your house or just doing stuff in the house in general.
Yeah, using your gamepad in different ways where you like set it down somewhere in the house and you have to go back to it like the water game where you have to scoop water and then dump it into your TV.
Ooh. Yes, dump water.
Don't dump water into your TV. That's probably not a good idea. I meant virtual water into the virtual TV. It's a real TV, just a virtual world. You know what I mean. And the final major one is the GamePad party. And that was a bunch of games you could play with 2 players on your GamePad. What do you think of those games?
Interesting.
They were always just like simple versions of the mini games. Because, I mean, there's only so much you could do on a gamepad. But they were pretty good. I liked the baseball one. Because it reminded me of the little ones I would play in the arcades. Where the ball would come up and I have to hit it really fast. There's also a mini game section where there were different ways to play the mini games in this collection. When you said you spent most of your time in there, right?
Yeah, there was quite a few things there that were fun. Especially the unlockable one there, which is Spot the Sneak.
Which I know you loved from the previous game.
Yes. Spot the Sneak is basically where you play a mini game, you get points at the end of it. However, one person has the ability to cheat, and at the end of the mini game, you have to pick who you think was the cheater. Basically, the sneak. Oh, and also at the beginning of the mini games, the sneak doesn't have their Wii remote rumble while everybody else's does. Computer players can be the sneak, by the way.
So that was cool that they brought that back. Oh, hey, little Wiiviewer, come here for a second. I noticed you walking by. What was your favorite mini game?
My favorite mini game was called Demolition Row. I think it was super addictive. It's basically Tetris with gravity colors. It was really fun.
Thanks, little Wiiviewer. There's also something called Amazing Feats. It's basically achievements. So if you do a certain thing, you'll get an amazing feat. And you can post it on the Miiverse and say, that's right, I did that. If you like achievements, there you go. You have something to strive for. Do you know how many feats we got?
None.
That's correcto. We didn't do any of them. Not because we didn't try, just because we're terrible at this game. Wii Party U, littlest Wiiviewer, would you buy, rent, or skip?
I don't know.
Okay, we may be here a while, folks. Did you have fun with this game?
Yes.
Did you think it was worthy of a buy?
Whoa, let's not jump to conclusions here. I don't know if you should really buy it. I don't know how many of them are very memorable.
Let me put it this way. It does come with a Wiimote. So if you factor out $40 of that, then is this game worth $10?
Yes.
And I agree with you. This title will be actually very good for a party. And if you buy it, you'll get a second Wiimote. And that'll come in very handy in the future. So I think it's absolutely worth a buy. Hey guys, thanks for watching our video. And if you click on those pictures in front of you, you can get to our other videos, which was Sonic's Lost World or the original Wii Party review. Do you think they should do it?
Sure. Or you could subscribe, or whatever you want to do.
Wow, could you put a little less emotion into that? Yeah, you can subscribe if you want to.
If you have the free time, click the button to subscribe.
The button?
Yes, the button. Probably is yellow and says subscribe.
You would be correct. Thank you guys for watching.